So I finally left China. After nearly 7 years of living in China, I moved on to the next chapter of my life. 7 years hasn't been 7 days, and there's so much that has happened in China that has impacted my life. And of course, I'll share so much with you in this video. And of course, I'll also tell you around the end of this video what is the next step for this channel. Well, what I can say is that I left my country in Africa as a boy. And after living in China for nearly 7 years, I can say that I am now a man because there's so much that I've learned while living in China, interacting with the people in China, learning the culture, learning the language, even starting a business in China. Well, there's so much. And I believe this video is for everyone thinking about making a move. Maybe you want to go to a new location, you want to go to a new city, you want to move to a new country. I think this is the video for you because I'm here to share with you the reality and how to overcome your fears. Leaving my country in Africa was a huge step. When I wanted to first travel to China, many people were asking, but why are you going to China? What is the reason for going to China? We don't even know so much about China. Will you be able to cope? The food, the language, it's so far away from your home country. Why are you even going there? But then I braced the odds, went there, and that was one of the best decisions of my life because when I look back now and I realize everything I've learned by living in China, it's really amazing. And I believe that's one of the best decisions that I ever made in my life. And there have been so many experiences. Like when I moved to China, at the beginning, it was so hard. The truth is that adapting in any new environment, in any new location, it's really hard. Let me even tell you guys some of the difficulties I faced. For example, when I just got to China, I couldn't buy food by myself, get a taxi. It was so hard. Sometimes when I went to the restaurant, I had to point what I wanted, and I couldn't use the chopsticks quite well. Now it's called Kwaizi. That's the Chinese name actually. And sometimes I'll buy some food, go to my room. When I try to eat the food, it won't really be the best because where I came from, the food was very different from the food that I made in China. Of course, China has different varieties of food that anyone can eat. And it was so hard. At some point, I even felt like, did I make the right decision moving to China? Was I sure about what I did? Well, the truth is that I wasn't quite sure, but what I realized was that it got easier with time. So if you're planning to move to a new city, to a new location, or to a new country, you should just know that it gets better with time. So as I was living in China, I met new friends, people who wanted to know about my culture from Africa, from Cameroon actually, in West Africa. They wanted to know about my culture. They wanted to know about how we live and so many aspects about my country and Africa in general. And of course, I wanted to learn about the culture of China and of course learn the language and learn so much more. It wasn't an easy task to be able to learn everything. And I knew that it couldn't just happen in a day. It was gonna take a while. So during my time trying to adapt in China, I had so many hurdles trying to survive, the cultural difference, the culture shock. So many things were very different, but I took one step at a time. I learned every single thing slowly but surely until I even started a business, and I made so many Chinese friends that I still keep in touch with right now. And of course, started this channel to be able to show the world and share with people who do not understand the reality of China but who live out of China, because there's so much misinformation in the media about China, just like there have been misinformation in the media about Africa for so many years. And I'm so glad and happy that I was able to start this channel with the help of you guys, and we got to the number of subscribers that we have right now. It's actually like a family, because there's so much that has happened on this channel over the past 2 years. And I believe I was able to share my experiences because I realized the downsides of people not getting informed. There can be so much hate, there can be so much trouble, there can be so much fighting, and different countries being at loggerheads just because we do not understand each other. And normally, this channel started as a business channel. But when I realized that so many people were not informed about China, I thought, oh, I think it would be a good idea to be able to share more about what happens in China, the real life in China. And that's the reason why I had to travel. Of course, before this channel, I traveled to many different places, and I kept traveling with this channel, of course. Went through Shanghai, Xinjiang, many cities in Xinjiang, went through Hunan, went through Guangdong, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, Chengdu, Shanghai, Chongqing. It was an amazing ride. Even Yunnan, where I met so many different types of people with different cultures, and it was really amazing talking to these different people who were located in these different places. Because one thing I realized was that China is huge, and there are so many different cultures and so many different ethnic groups living in China and living in harmony. And I think it's quite similar to Africa. Like there are different ethnic groups in Africa that are trying to live together amongst themselves, and there's so much to be learned. And interacting with these people in China, and of course, learning the language, learning the culture, just made it much more easier for me to be able to integrate and love the country. Normally, I believe that learning a language is not just about learning a language, it's also about learning the culture. Because if you are open to learning the culture of a country, you will easily be open to learning that language. And that's how I learned Chinese language. Of course, I'll make another video in future on this channel sharing with you how I did learn the Chinese language. There are so many tips which I can share with you, and of course I'll do just that. And even though I've left China right now, of course I plan to be back. I definitely plan to be back to China someday in the near future. And who knows, when I get much older, I might even spend more time in China because I want to travel the world. I've always said on this channel in many of my previous videos, I love going to new places. Of course, sometimes the journey is so long and so tedious and so tiring, but the overall experience is always amazing. And when you learn new cultures and you meet new people, it definitely helps. That's the reason why there's a saying by an old Chinese scholar. I can't really remember his name, but he said it's better to travel 1,000 miles, or it's better to travel 10,000 miles than to read 10,000 books. So traveling definitely opens your mind. When I was leaving my country, Cameroon in Africa, there were so many things I didn't know about, that I didn't learn, I hadn't understood, especially about the Asian culture, the Chinese culture, and other aspects. But when I moved to China, it was like a bright light. My eyes, like some scales fell off my eyes, and I began to see things differently, which was kind of amazing for me. And as I keep moving and growing personally, growing in my personal business, growing in my personal space, growing my mindset. I believe that there's still so much to learn in the world. The world is like a global village, but it's really diverse. And that's why, as I keep moving forward, I try to learn as much as I can. Well, I believe that to be able to tell some stories from one location to the next, you need to be able to go there and see for yourself. So, after living in China for all these years, the next location is in the Western world. And of course, in my subsequent videos, I'll share with you where exactly I am because I plan to make so many amazing videos and, of course, share them with you. All the China videos will still be on this channel. If you haven't watched all my experiences, all my travels in China, you can go back on this channel, watch the videos. Very interesting, so much culture, really rich culture and diversity. You can learn that. And now there's where I am right now is quite different from China, and the culture is really different, but there's so much to still learn. And of course, I'll be talking to more people right here. I'll be sharing people's experiences, immigrants' experiences, even those who have left from China to this location and their experiences, and those who have been living here for a long time. We are going to talk about all that in subsequent videos. There's so much in store on this channel, so stay tuned. Normally, the reason why I haven't been posting for a while on this channel is due to the move, but then everything is getting stable again, and I can't wait to share with you guys so much that's gonna happen right here on this channel. I'm excited. And that's one advantage of traveling the world. When you travel and you experience the world, you see the world, you learn. There's so much you can learn. So if you are planning to travel to any country or to travel to any location or city or to change locations for work, for living, for any reasons, don't hesitate. Just make sure you plan properly, know what you're getting yourself into, know the pros and the cons, know everything that you are going to experience as you get into your new location. It has really been an amazing experience in China, and I'm so grateful for all the videos I've made and for everyone I've met in China. And of course, I can't wait to be back. Who knows? Anytime soon. Maybe this year I can be back. Maybe early next year I can be back. But I will definitely be back. Well, like I said, there's still so much more to share on this channel in the new location. And of course, it will have the same vibes like I was sharing in China. There's no stop. And from here, we're going to move more around the world and show more places, not just in a room like this, but we're going to go out to the streets and talk with people, ask their own opinions, and of course, figure out the best way to be able to make world peace, to be able to ensure that we all live together in harmony, of course, globally. And I will share so much of my own personal tips and my own personal motivations that have helped me to be able to travel and meet new people, what helps me to be able to interact with people the way I do, what helps me to be able to keep an open mind to learning, because I believe when you keep an open mind, you can learn so much more. I'll share all of that on this channel. So I can just say that this video is to give you guys a live update on my next move of what has been happening, because I know it's been a little while that I've not been consistent with posting videos right here. And of course, no place is perfect. I've always said it before. When I was living in China making my videos, I used to say it. China isn't perfect. No place is perfect. But it's about understanding where we live. It's about understanding where your neighbor lives. It's about understanding where people live to be able to bridge that gap, which will definitely reduce that trouble, that tension that is between people from different countries. So hopefully things get better and I can share with you guys from the streets. So just stay tuned. If you haven't liked this video yet, please like this video, subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned because there is so much to come. I can't wait to share with you guys everything I have in store. Thank you. Remember, this is Willene. See you next time.